Baphomet is a well-known figure and even rivals Super Zandau, right, Baphomet? Did you know this figure's story includes a king, the Knights Templar, and the Pope? If you're curious, come with me and I'll explain. If you're new, subscribe and like. It really motivates me to make more videos. If you can help me even more, use the thanks button down below, the one shaped like a little heart, and you can donate anything to me with it. You can also join the channel to get early access to videos and the channel's Discord. Just a reminder that this video is simply meant to be educational and to share information. I'm not proposing anything to anyone. All right, let's go. There isn't a consensus about what the name Baphomet means. Some say it comes from the words Baph and Metis, which would be something like baptism of wisdom. However, Baphomet has been in use since at least the 1090s, when it appeared in a letter from one of the first crusades. The name itself, although it certainly isn't the current one, may have been related to Islam, since some of the writers referred to mosques as Baphomarius. Some believe Baphomet is a corrupted form of Muhammad, as Muhammad has various spellings. But as I said, no one knows how this name originated, and there are several theories. If you want books on mythology, demonology, or more, use the Amazon link in the description to find many options. All right, using the link helps the channel. Baphomet was supposedly a deity or a demon that was worshipped by the Order of the Templars. But saying it like that, it even sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? Because this order's role was to defend Christians in Jerusalem. During the trial of the knights, they were accused of many things, one of them being blasphemy and heresy. But the truth is that there's a lot more behind this story. For you to understand, we'll have to go back a bit and talk about two characters: King Philip IV of France, known as the Fair, and Pope Clement V Philip the Fair. He was the kind of guy who loved to spend money, whether on wars or on parties for his court. But, as many say, money isn't eternal. And at some point it started to run out and became very scarce. So Felipe started trying to get money any way he could, whether it was borrowing from bankers, expelling Jews and taking their belongings. And he also started dipping into the church's money, which began to irritate the Pope at the time, Boniface VIII. But even after doing all that, he still hadn't gotten as much money as he wanted to keep living his luxurious lifestyle. So he imposed a new tax on the church's annual income, which of course made him a lot of enemies who wanted his head. But on the other hand, King Philip made a move to depose the Pope, to choose someone who would be more trustworthy, someone who would be easier for him to control. And that's how Pope Clement V comes into the picture, whose name at the time was still Raymond. Pope Boniface even tried to get close to him to gain an ally, but it didn't work out because Boniface died, and then a fight started to see who would be the next pope. The cardinals even tried to avoid Philip's influence in the selection of Pope Benedict IX, but he was poisoned. And, taking advantage of the situation, Philip divided the Italian and French cardinals. That's how Raymond became Pope Clement V. The king then turned his attention to the coffers of the Hospitaller Order and the Order of the Templars, who amassed wealth through donations and relic trade. With King Clement V's help, the knights were accused of blasphemy, paganism, spitting on the cross, denying Christ, and more. One being drew significant attention during the trial. Some knights admitted to worshiping a specific idol called Baphomet, but of course they only admitted this after a lot of torture, right? This being lax or lacked a clear nature or appearance, and it wasn't really clear what he had to do with the activities of the Templars, or was it just an attempt to put more heresy on the order? For the church, Baphomet ultimately became one of the devil's many forms. As you saw, Baphomet originally lacked a clear form, but if you search for his name, you'll see a kind of man with a goat's head or something like that. That's because around 1850, Eliphas Levi published the Dogmas and Rituals of High Magic. And in that book, he depicted Baphomet with the image we're used to nowadays, which is different from the meaning of his or her name. You'll soon see why I said that. It's easy to see what inspired Levi to make that image. First, Levi's Baphomet clearly has a goat or ram face. So much so that sometimes it's called the Mendes goat or the Sabbatic goat. There are many representations of a demonic creature with horns, resembling a goat or the devil himself. Since Levi received a more ecclesiastical education, he mentioned several works on demonology, such as the famous On the Demonology of Sorcerers by Jambodin. Did you only cite recent works? For example, by Augustin Comet with the treatise on the appearance of spirits and on vampires, and also by Ambaptiste with the treatise on superstitions on sacraments, and in this last one there's a Sabbath goat. The image closely resembles the Compendium Maleficarum's demon with wings and a goat's head, much like Levi's Baphomet. The main inspiration for this image is the devil card from the tarot and the androgyne from alchemy, as Baphomet has both male and female traits. The symbolism of Baphomet's image, like many things in life, is complicated. On top of his head, he has the symbol of the pentagram, which is upright with 5 points, symbolizing spirit over matter. His right hand points to the white moon above, his left points down to the black moon. The symbol he makes with his hand represents the perfect balance between opposing polarities. Baphomet has a torch between his horns, symbolizing the magical light of universal balance. It also represents the soul linked to matter, like fire to a torch. The goat's head represents the limitations that are placed on a soul. When wrapped in flesh, the soul becomes subject to it, and its spiritual nature diminishes. Between his legs, he carries a caduceus, which is the symbol of Hermes from Greek mythology. The caduceus takes the place of something else that should be there, which is, well, anyway, it's taking the place of something else that should be there. The caduceus symbolizes eternal life and renewal. On Baphomet's belly, there's something whose name I don't know. If you know the name, please comment below. Thanks. I only learned it symbolizes water, which represents emotions. The belly is a chakra point connected to the spleen and the endocrine system. So this object symbolizes purification and health through the balance between opposites, which are symbolized by the serpents that circle and climb up the caduceus. This chakra area is topped by a dome with several heavens, the starry mantles covering the earth. They are Baphomet's wings, symbolizing the power to ascend through understanding the imagination in his image. Baphomet's breasts would embody life's essence. Levi's work solidified Baphomet's link to occultism. Representations of him began to appear in various occult texts throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It was further adapted when the Church of Satan adopted the figure, but this time it was represented by an inverted pentagram. It became the official symbol in the late 1960s. A magical symbol was created for Baphomet for the Satanic Bible, first published in 1969 by Anton Lavey. In 2014, Baphomet unexpectedly appeared in several newspapers. That's because the Satanic Temple, which is a political organization that promotes the separation of church and state, offered to donate. The Baphomet statue was set to be placed next to the 10 Commandments monument outside the Oklahoma Supreme Court. In 2015, its unveiling in front of the Satanic Temple in Detroit sparked major controversy. Well, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate the video with a like or dislike, subscribe, and comment your topic ideas for the next video. Thanks.